This week's video is going to focus on the entrepreneurs, the small business owners, the side hustlers, people who use social media and email marketing and connecting with others to run a business, because we're in our slow season. Surprise, surprise, not a ton of people are looking to go outside when it's going to be 5 degrees on Saturday to do a photo shoot. And I know that can be really discouraging when you hit a slower season or a slower month in your business, because this might be your livelihood, this might be your sole income, this might just be your passion project that you feel like you need to be succeeding at constantly. So a few things I want to talk about today are just what can we do during the slow season to benefit ourselves if it's not necessarily making income right now. The first thing you're not going to like me for. The first thing I really recommend people do, and I am taking my own advice, is rest. Especially coming off of the past, I guess at this point, 2 years, we have been going. So a slower season is a season to be taking rest and recharging and working through any burnout that you might have been feeling. This could be catching up on a Netflix show. This could be reading more books. This might even be still in your business. You might be investing in education while you have the downtime. Do something that refuels your soul, because when you take the time to do that during the slow season, you are going into your busier seasons refreshed instead of fried, and that's going to make a world of a difference. All right, so something that I think anybody can be working on during slower seasons is working on, I'm going to say that buzzword of goals, but really not just these far-reaching goals or spreading yourself too thin trying to achieve so many different things in the year, but thinking through your year. What do you want it to look like? What would be awesome if it happened? What do you want to see different as you go into this next busy season? And I don't just like goals because it's January, but really when it's a slower season, it gives you a chance to look back on the past 9 months and see what you liked, what you were proud of, but then look at the next 9 months that are coming up and say, what do you want to do differently? So, grabbing a notebook and writing down your crazy ideas, or getting a planner out and working on your calendar. I also love this planner. It's the Passion Planner, because the way it does goals, I really like. It's not about trying to achieve everything in a year, but really thinking through what would make a difference in your life in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, in a lifetime. What are things you want to see happen? And then you break them down. You build a roadmap and you figure out what of these goals do you want to really focus on, what are going to be your game changers, and what are you going to do this year to get to them. Spend some time thinking about your year, do your calendar, write your goals, but remember that goals aren't just 12-month goals. They are 3-month goals, they are 3-year goals. And the last thing that we can be doing during slow season is preparing for the busier season. And what I mean by that is getting some things out of the way now that you're not trying to fit them into the schedule when you get busier. A real big thing for people is content for their social media, their website, their blogs, and their email marketing. Trying to do this every single week can feel like a hamster wheel. You can't wake up on Monday morning and think, okay, what am I going to post today, tomorrow, Wednesday? Do I have that? It'll wear you out. It wears me out. So really, I've been using some tools that I've always had, but trying to be a little bit more thoughtful about it and going into it a little bit more to prepare my content. So things that I use an app called Planoly for Instagram, and I use Canva for graphic design, for pins, for Pinterest, blogs. All of my graphic design is on Canva. All of my scheduling is on Planoly for Instagram, and then I go from there. So explore these options and really try to get ahead of yourself. Even if you just set yourself up with 3 posts a week for the next 10 weeks, it's 30 posts. If you can batch content, at least you have something ready to go so that you're not trying to think it all through every single day. If you're sitting here being like, but I don't have content, Now is also the time to work with someone to produce that content, whether it's a social media manager or a photographer. I really recommend having branding sessions at least once a year so that you can produce content of what you do and of you doing it, so that you have this stuff ready to go for these posts. If you do a branding shoot with a photographer like myself, you're gonna walk out with at least 30 images that you can use however you wish. They're digital files. You can use them on your website. You can use them on your Instagram. You can use them in blogs. And they're just going to help you be more prepared when you get into that busier season, because you'll have this little library to work through. Working with photographers during the slow season is a great time because of three things. One, the photographer is going to have more time. If you try to reach out to somebody in July and you want to shoot with them on the weekend, that's probably not going to happen. But if you reach out to a photographer in February and say, hey, I'm usually free on Wednesdays and Sundays, could we do a branding session? They're gonna say yes. They're going to have better availability right now. You're also gonna be able to have more options of where you shoot if you do a branding session during the slow season. Spaces that are usually booked out for parties, events, weddings are going to be emptier during the slow season. So you can get into like a wedding venue that has great walls and great light to do your branding shoot, because they're not going to be booked. They're not going to have a wedding coming up. You can get in there on a weekday and shoot for an hour. And the third reason that now is a good time to work with a photographer is they're also probably going to be able to turn those images around a little bit quicker. So maybe you want to make sure you have this all done before the start of April, when spring shows up and things get busier. Well, if you book a shoot with them in February, you're probably going to have your whole gallery by the end of the month. And then you'll be able to schedule your content and be really set to go before you get busy. Really, it is a slow season. I know that can be so hard when this is your income or your livelihood or just something you're so passionate about. You want to be busy all the time with it. But use the slow months effectively. Go ahead and go take a vacation, rest, stay on your couch all day, relax and recharge. And then spend time setting your goals and working on your calendar and reminding yourself that these aren't just goals that need to be done by next January. And then finally, prepare some content. Get ahead of the curve with your Instagram, with your Pinterest, with your blogs. Work with a photographer or a social media manager if you don't have content yet created, and see how that work that you put in during the slow season makes such a difference for you during your busy seasons.